In this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make this beautiful popcorn stitch flower. Now with this particular pattern you can use it to make it as large as you want it to be, so you can make things like pillowcases, or you can make them for embellishments for other projects. And also I will be doing a follow-up video at some point to show you how you can turn these into granny squares as well. So it probably won't be one this size that I will be turning into a granny square, it will probably be one which is a bit smaller. But I'm just going to do the first 3 rounds of petals with you to show you how you can start and build up this particular project. So remember, if this is your very first time visiting the Blossom Crochet channel, then please do hit that subscribe button and the little bell button to keep up to date with all of my weekly tutorials. But let's crack on with the popcorn stitch flower. So I'm just going to be using some Rico Cotton that I've got left over from a previous project, but you can use any yarn and any hook size that you like. So you can start this project in 2 ways. You can either start with a magic ring, or you can start the way that I'm going to start, which is with a slip knot on my hook. And I'm going to start with a chain of 2. So 1 and 2. But like I say, if you prefer to start with a magic circle, that's absolutely fine, and you would simply start with 8 double crochets into your magic ring. Now remember, I'm working in UK terms here, so if you're in the US that would have been your single crochet. But for now, if you're following the way that I'm doing it, we are now going to work into that very first chain right next to your slip knot, just here, and we're going to do 8 double crochets into that stitch. So you'll insert your hook into that stitch, yarn over and pull up, and you'll have 2 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through both of those loops. So that's 1 double crochet. Now you might find it handy here just to pop in a little stitch marker into the top of that first stitch that you just did, just so that you don't mess up when you come to join your round later on. So I'm just going to pop a stitch marker into that first, the top of that one that we've just completed. And so now back into that same space, we're going to do 7 more double crochet. So yarn over and pull up, yarn over and pull through both. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and my final one, which will be number 8. So I want to join now with a slip stitch to the top of the first stitch that we did. So I'm just going to remove that stitch marker, and then I will insert my hook into the top of that stitch, making sure I get the whole of the stitch, and slip stitch, so yarn over and pull through both. So that is the starting ring for our flower. So we're now going to be doing a series of popcorn stitches. So a popcorn stitch is very simple and very obviously repetitive once you know how to do it. And so we're going to start with a chain 3. And that chain 3 is going to count as our first treble crochet. And now remember, that's UK treble, US double. And so right into the base of where we've just come up from, just here, you will do 4 treble crochets. So yarn over, insert into that very first stitch, yarn over and pull up, and you'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So you want to have a total of 5 trebles, and obviously this chain 3 counts as your first one. So we've got 2, so you do 3 more. So yarn over and insert, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and 2 more. That's 4, and that's 5. So that's our 5 trebles now, and you just want to pull up that loop. You can just pop your finger through just to keep hold of it. And you're then going to insert your hook into the top of that chain 3 that we did right at the beginning. So you'll insert your hook through there and then pop your hook back through that loop, and you'll just tighten up that loop once more, and you'll just pull that loop through that stitch. So that has pulled the stitches together to create that little 3D popcorn. So you then want to chain 1, which just closes the popcorn stitch completely, and then we can move on to the next stitch. So into this next one, we're going to do 5 treble crochets. So this next stitch just here, we will do 5 trebles. So yarn over, insert into that next stitch, and you'll complete your 5 trebles. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And again, you just pull up that loop, and you'll go into the top of that very first treble of this set of 5. So you'll go into the top of that stitch and then catch the loop once more and tighten it up, and then you'll pull that stitch through that first stitch, and again that has just created your popcorn, and you'll do a chain 1, and you're going to continue to do that all the way around until you've got 8 of these little popcorn petals. So I will join you on the final one to show you how to close off this round. So I've just completed my 7th petal, and then obviously I've got this final stitch here to work my 8th petal into. So I'll just complete this final petal with you. So I'll do my 5 trebles, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and obviously I'll finish off in the same way as always. And then a chain 1 as always, and then we're ready now to close off this round. So this can sometimes be the slightly fiddly bit, so you just want to turn it over, and you just want to find the very first chain 3 that you did. So you can see if I pull it apart a little, that is my chain 3 just here, and I'm just going to insert my hook into the top-ish of that chain 3 again. So you're just going to insert your hook into the top of that chain 3, and then you'll slip stitch, so yarn over and pull through both. So that is your centre of your popcorn stitch flower. Now obviously you can finish here if you want to, if you were just making lots of tiny ones, but obviously I will do another round or so with you now. So just like as if you were increasing in the round doing normal stitches, we are going to do 2 petals now in between each of the previous petals on the row before. So we're going to chain 3, and then you can see that we've sort of got 2 spaces either side of this stitch. So you've got a space to the left, and then there's the chain 3 that we've just worked into, and a space to the right. We're going to complete our first set into this space here, and then we'll do our final petal when we get back round to the other side into the other space. So we'll do our first set into this space just here. So we've got our chain 3, which will count as the first treble. So then we'll do 4 more trebles into that space just there. So that's 1, 2, and that is 5. So I've got my chain 3 and then 4 trebles. So again, we'll make this into a popcorn by going into the top of the chain 3 for this one and then pulling that loop through. Chain 1, and then we're going to skip over the popcorn stitch from the previous row and we're going to do 2 popcorn stitches into this next space. So yarn over, and again you're going to go into that next space and you'll do 1 popcorn stitch first of all. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make your popcorn. So again, insert your hook and then pull that loop through, chain 1, and then back into that very same space that you've just done, you're going to do another popcorn stitch. So yarn over, go back into that same space, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and complete your popcorn and chain 1. So you're going to continue that all the way around, doing 2 popcorns in between each of the popcorns from the previous row, and now we'll meet you as you get back to the other side and we'll finish off that final set together. So pretty much back round to where we started from. I've done my final 2 popcorn stitches here. So back here you'll remember we only did 1 in between these 2 stitches at the beginning, so we need to complete our final popcorn into that space just there next to the other one, and you'll do that as normal. So your 5 trebles, four and 5, and obviously just complete your popcorn, chain 1, and then we're ready to join again. So just in the same way as before, you're going to find your chain 3 from where you started and you'll just slip stitch into that chain 3. So that, let me just pull that through slightly, that is your second round of petals completed, and you can see it looks really beautiful. It's very, very textured, and with every round that you do it will push the petals from the previous round forwards a little bit, so it may look like they're lying back a bit, but obviously with every round that you do it will push them slightly more forwards. So that was the end of the second round of petals. Now I'm going to show you how you can continue this on. So you would do it as if you were working in the round, and obviously we've done our first round and then the second round is always doubling up, so you do 2 in between each stitch, whereas now you do your increases alternately. So for this next one you will do 1 popcorn in between the first of the 2 stitches. In the next you will do an increase, so you'll do 2 popcorn stitches. In the next you'll do 1, in between the next you'll do 2, and so you'll alternate it all the way around. So that is how you would do the next round, and you will continue in that way. So the round after that you would do 1 popcorn in between the first set, 1 popcorn in between the second set, and then your increase. So you'll increase on the third set, and then the following round it would be 1, 1, 1, an increase on the fourth, and the following round 1, 1, 1, 1, an increase on the fifth. So that you would do it literally as if you were working in the round, and you would use that pattern to make this as big as you want it to be. You could make it literally enormous to make great big cushions or anything. You could literally go as big as you wanted, but I will just demonstrate that now by doing one more round on this one. So again, I'll chain 3, and in this first space I will do 1 popcorn stitch. So I'll continue this as normal. 3, 4 and 5, and then create your popcorn, chain 1, and so in between the next 2 popcorn stitches I will do an increase, so I will do 2 popcorn stitches in this space. 2, 3, 4 and 5, chain 1, and because it's an increase I will be doing another popcorn in that very same space. 3, 4, 5. Chain 1, and then in between the next 2 popcorn stitches I'll just be doing 1 stitch this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and close off your popcorn, and then again between the next 2 stitches I will do 2. So you'll continue that all the way around, and again we'll just close off together at the end. So I'm back to my final space now, so I've done 1 in this stitch here. So in this final space here I need to make sure I do an increase, so I need to have 2 in this final space. Because obviously we started just with 1 on its own, so this final one should work out, oops, that you need 2 in here. So you're just going to create your final 2 popcorns in this last stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, lost a bit of that yarn there. That's 5, so just finish off this stitch, chain 1, and then as always you're ready to join to the chain 3 at the beginning of that first popcorn. So that is where I'm going to stop, and that is how my flower is looking. So as I say, you can carry on and make this as big as you want following that previous pattern that I mentioned earlier. So your next round would be starting with 1 and then 1 in the next stitch and increase in the stitch after that, and then 1, 1, increase, 1, 1, increase, and then the following row you would 1, 1, 1, increase, 1, 1, 1, increase, and you would carry on just like that to make it however big you want it to be. But I'm going to finish this one here just for the sake of the tutorial. So I'm just going to chain 1 snip off, pull that tail out and tighten up, and then obviously I'm ready now to sew in my ends for this particular one. But they make such sweet embellishments no matter how many rows you do. They do look really pretty, and as I say, you can use the pattern to make it as big as you want it to be.